Okay guys, a new phenomenon that I wanted to broach today because we're seeing it happen more and more in the marketplace at the moment. Sellers are very reluctant to reduce their price. Now, what you're seeing happening in Ontario is a complete shutdown of the real estate market, which is largely posed by similar things that we have here in Vancouver in terms of overbuilding, shoebox condos with investors and so on and so forth. But also because their province is being decimated from tariffs and unemployment, youth unemployment way more than Vancouver's is, we're not seeing as much of a drastic turn, but we're still seeing the same signs. And so we have sellers over here that are just very reluctant to reduce their price. And in my opinion, that happens mainly for two reasons. The first one, everyone's going to be familiar with. The seller has an unrealistic expectation of where their sale price is. This is usually fueled by a loose judgment based upon a friend telling them something or something that they've seen in the market, i.e. if they're a condo and somebody of their floor plan sold, a year or 2 years ago or something like that, and it's sold for $150,000 more than their asking price or what their suggested market value price is. They don't take into account, things like floor height difference, quality, time of year, is it a busy time of year to sell, and also the general overall market condition. Are we in a seller's market then versus a buyer's market now, and so on and so forth. That's very, very common. But the other thing now that I'm really finding is people can't reduce their prices. Now, if you're a realtor or working with a realtor, you should be able to read between the lines of when you see something like this. But I think it's really easy to forget that reducing the price is not just about selling the property. It's not just about a seller saying, okay, I wanted 1.6 million, but I can't get 1.6 million, so I'll take 1.4. No, a lot of the time, these people have a certain amount in which they need to clear in order to clear title. So if you sell your property, a reminder, you have to legally clear title of all financial charges. Otherwise, the property can't be sold. So that's like mortgage amounts, HELOC loans, building liens, anything like that. That has to legally be cleared before the sale will happen. So if you've got those accumulated costs need to be 1.5 million in order to clear title, and you're currently listed at 1.6 and not selling, after commission, etc. has been paid, you need to walk away with 1.5. Otherwise, you can't clear that title. So it doesn't make, even if you were willing to go down to 1.4 million and sell, it doesn't make sense from a seller's point of view because, well, I'm selling at 1.4, then plus commission, let's say I walk away with 1.35, but I need 1.5 in order to clear title. So unless I have 150 grand stashed somewhere else, I'm not going to be able to do that. And FY, most Canadians do not have 150 grand stashed anywhere else. As a country and as a people, we are horrendous at savings overall. We put most of it into our real estate. And don't forget, there's a lot of HELOCs out there as well. So it's not just about mortgages left to pay. There's also home equity lines of credit people added to their title. On top of this, that's why you're going to be seeing just some wacky stuff out there at the moment. So to give you a couple of examples, this happened to me recently with a couple of other buyers. Sorry, two individual buyers. Now, the first group, we went and looked at a property. It had been on the market for say 4 months. It was listed, it was like $1.6 million, something like that. They hadn't had any offers on it. We came through with an offer based upon market comparables. We sent over comparables as to why our price was this. They came back to us, they counted $50,000 over their asking price, and they wanted like a 6-month close or something like that. Which is wild when you think about it, because you're like, well, you've been on the market for 4 months. You've not had any offers. How do you have the audacity to come back at 1.65 million? Well, I do a little bit of research on my end and I can see they bought the home in 2022, peak of the market. They also renovated during the time they had it. And now they're trying to sell, obviously, during a very different type of market. So you've got somebody here, read between the lines. They bought it for X price at that point. They obviously put in a renovation to it, so they add that cost to it as well. They paid property transfer tax at the time, and now they got to pay realtor commissions to sell it. They have to have that amount in order to clear title. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, nobody is that arrogant without a reason to be that arrogant. And then on a bit of a lower end side of things, I had another buyer, same sort of thing, been on the market, came back with a very specific number. It was something like 1.13 million or something like that. And again, you read between the lines. This one was a pre-sale. So if you're out there buying new property, this one is going to be key for you, because a lot of the people selling their pre-sale home or now had completion and the product is finished, they bought at peak market. So in this one, for example, we actually have an accepted offer on it now, so I'm not going to relay the particular details, but this unit in particular, they paid, including GST, about 1.4 million for it. So to come back with such a specific number, again, you can read between the lines, they need a certain amount to clear title. And that's why you just see some wacky stuff out there at the moment, because sellers are finding themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, I'm overpriced on this side, so I'm not selling, but then also I can't reduce price on this side because I can't clear my title or clear my financial charges from title, and so I won't sell. So inevitably, we've got to keep an eye on what happens with those bankruptcies and those foreclosures and missed payments, as eventually, you know, something gets too much on one of either end, and some people grin and bear it if they can, but some can't, and then they'll start hitting the market because they're forced to sell. And that is not a place that we want to be in. But if you're getting some crazy things out there at the moment, especially when you're making offers or where you're kind of getting some feedback from agents, that is likely why, so make sure you bear that in account.